Hello, everybody, and welcome to the beginning of an exciting new series here with Treaduse and Aid 480.
A480 or Ado. I'll be playing the Sapphire mode of this little challenge we've got here.
Yep, I'll be in Ruby. We're gonna do a randomized race to glory Nuzlocke. It's gonna be great. So, Aid, go ahead and start us off with our rules. What are we gonna be doing? How are we gonna be playing?
So naturally, if you're not familiar with Nuzlocke in the first place, if your Pokemon is fainted in battle, he is considered dead and has to be released at that point.
Yep.
Um,
Very sad. Put him in the graveyard.
Very, very sad.
Um,
Actually, we'll have randomized encounters throughout this as we're doing a randomizer Nuzlocke. Throughout those encounters, the Pokemon may have random held items. Obviously, this doesn't happen 100% of the time, but it is just a nice little touch where you could get an added bonus.
yeah.
Something that might affect you in a bad way as well. Do you want to
Yeah, something
chime in with some of them Treaduse?
Yeah, and then we've got the other rule with Nuzlocke is you can only catch the first Pokemon per route that you encounter. So if you run into a tall brush, the first Pokemon that jumps out at you is the first one that you have to try and catch if you want to get a Pokemon that route. The exceptions to this are if you encounter a legendary Pokemon, you're allowed to try again for a non-legendary. And if you get a duplicate, meaning you already have that Pokemon, you can skip that one and go and try again on the next one. But you just have to try the first one. The only other exception to this is the Safari Zone, where you just try and catch all the Pokemon. The first one that you get is the first one you get, and that's when you have to leave. So that's how the random encounter part will work. We've talked about random items. I messed up in my settings and accidentally randomized my ground items. I clicked an extra box, so all the little ones you find on the ground. Mine are random, Aids are not. So that's my bad. So I just messed up on that one, but hopefully will hurt just as much as it'll help me. So I think it'll even out. But yeah, definitely made an oopsie there, but got too far into it. But, yeah.
Naturally, last rule, obviously, if you're doing a Nuzlocke, this doesn't have to apply to you and you can take it at whatever pace that you want. But in this particular challenge, whoever finishes the game quicker is the winner of the challenge. We're going to strive for 30-minute episodes, but
Correct.
if this goes over in any way or under, the final credits, once you beat the Elite Four, show your exact time anyway, so that shouldn't be an issue on that front.
Yep. So whoever's done first is the grand champion. No, that's our rules. I'm excited to show down. Ado has already finished the game by the time that we're recording this, and I'm about a third of the way through. So we're excited to see each other's footage and get to the end and see who's our winner. It's going to be a good time. So.
Yeah. So if anyone besides myself and Treaduse end up watching each other's perspectives, you enjoy. Not then.
Oh yeah.
Oh well.
Do it. Let's get into it.
We're going to enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
Let's have it.
All right. Time to go.
Hello and welcome to my Pokemon Sapphire Randomizer Nuzlocke. Obviously this is a series I'm running alongside Treaduse. I'm obviously the British guy from the intro. Here's my American counterpart. So yeah, we're just going to race through Pokemon Sapphire together, and we'll be doing a randomizer Nuzlocke as we do that. I'll just address a few things before we get into the actual main game itself. I'm just going to move our way through the intro really quick. I will be doing this post-com for the first 2 or 3 episodes, simply because I've already recorded this twice, 2 separate runs. But both times I fucked up in the randomizer and did some of the randomizer wrong. Hence why I'm doing postcom, because I've done this twice already and I can't see myself getting too infused about the starting section of the game. So that's just one of them things cleared up. If that's not your style, I do apologise if anyone else but Treaduse is watching this. But I just thought it would be better to do it that way than be really drawny and boring. Well, more drawny and boring than I usually am, and nobody would want to see that really. So yeah, we're just jumping into Little Root Town. We've finally been let out of that small, cramped, hot vehicle on a summer's day. Obviously my name for this run is Ado. That's what Treaduse nicknames me and what I'll go as really. So if he mentions Ado, if you're watching his perspective, obviously that's me. Yeah, so we're just gonna jump into the introduction bit. There's no real way to make this part of the game somewhat exciting because it's just hand holding and it's the same in every Pokemon game essentially. So she just tells you to go and meet your first rival, May. You're going to make your way over there just before you get your first starter Pokemon. So just to address a few questions people may have, I mean, I doubt people will have them. I doubt anyone will watch this, but if anyone does, you might be wondering why we're actually doing the series in the first place. Essentially, myself and Treaduse, about 6 years ago, we used to make YouTube videos for fun. We used to play Minecraft together and we had a server that we both played on and had a real good time. But back in that time, we actually did do a versus series on Pokemon Ruby, which is the game he'll be playing. And we did a randomizer Nuzlocke for that, and we both really enjoyed recording that, but sadly we never got to fully upload that to YouTube because I had some technical issues, so we're giving it another go. Here we are anyway. So our starters, Mudkip, Wurmple, or I forgot what the other one actually is. What popped up there? Geodude. So it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Really, if you got offered them free Pokemon, you're gonna pick Mudkip, aren't you? At the end of the day, so obviously I did. I picked Mudkip. A really good start to get in any sort of Pokemon run, especially a Nuzlocke and especially a randomizer where I could have literally got any fucking Pokemon in the world in Gen 3 and downwards anyway. So yeah, I think I got really lucky there. And I was saying to Treaduse, he's kind of done me a favour by reminding me that I fucked up the rules on my other two, because the first run I had a Salamence, but we were meant to be doing tier 1 starters, and my second run I got an Oddish, which is one of my favourite Pokemon. I think maybe because of that run, it might be one of my favourite Pokemon now. But yeah, I got that, which wasn't too bad, but obviously Mudkip is a much better Pokemon than an Oddish for running through Hoenn. So we make our way towards May for the first rival battle. Obviously the Nuzlocke does not start until you get your Pokeballs, so we just kind of get a gauge of what Pokemon are on each route before we can even catch them. Get a few bits of XP here and there before we go and take on May. I will just clarify for the series that myself and Treaduse aren't Pokemon experts, so if we do fuck up, don't flame us too hard, and yeah, we aren't speedrunning on Nuzlocke experts either, so that's the reason why we aren't playing like proper hardcore Nuzlocke rules or anything like that. We're just here to have a bit of a laugh and mainly just watch each other's perspective, and if other people watch it, then that's cool, and if they don't want to watch it, then oh well. Yeah, so we're just making our way to May. We've got a few shit encounters so far, I won't lie. We've made sure that we picked up the potion from I forget the name of the town actually. The little town north of Little Root. So I think we're pretty sure May gets Geodude as a rival, which is, you know, a perfect matchup for me. The only problem later on in the run that could be is it having self-destruct, which is a bit of a Nuzlocke breaker as it is. So hopefully with any luck we don't come across a self-destructing Graveler anytime soon. We've done a few housekeeping things. We're allowing running shoes indoors, which is a bit of a nice touch. Just little things like that just make the game a bit better. Being able to sprint around indoors is really good. And you don't realise how slow that the walking is indoors before you put these running shoes indoors on, because God, you go fast. And it is really neat. But yeah, at this point in the game we haven't actually got the running shoes just yet, so something to look forward to for us there. But obviously with this Geodude, we have an obvious type advantage against it, so we're just mud slapping it to death basically, dropping the accuracy as much as we can along the way. But yeah, pretty easy rival battle. I don't imagine they're all going to be that easy, but if they were, obviously I would not be complaining one bit. But yeah, fairly easy to take down May there. Yeah, after that, you do make your way back to Little Root Town, pick up your Pokeballs for the first time, which is always nice. But yeah, I'm really happy I got the Mudkip this early in the run. I think if I can keep that alive till the end game, that's a massive acquisition for the team, and one that could be the difference in winning this race versus Treaduse. The reason he's doing Ruby is just because obviously if people want to watch both perspectives, it could be a bit boring watching the same game, and I know Ruby and Sapphire aren't too different, but at least there is these minor little differences in the game that maybe will make it a bit more interesting. And obviously we do have different play styles and perspectives, so at least that's different at the same time there. So hopefully that'll make a little bit of a difference. So yeah, at this point we've received our Pokeballs, so the Nuzlocke officially begins. So obviously, according to Nuzlocke rules, if a Pokemon faints in battle, it is considered dead. So that now comes into play. So definitely something to look out for going forward. And continuing on with the challenge. But yeah, Am just gives us the running shoes, which is just an absolute godsend. I don't know what I'd do without running shoes in the game. It's the only reason I don't like playing Gen 1 and 2, because I think you get the running shoes a bit later in the game, or is that just Gen 1 I'm thinking about, but I'm not too sure. So our first encounter is a Voltorb. I will admit I wasn't too happy with that, but I did think I'll catch it anyway, because we have also done it so wild Pokemon can have a random held item. So that could be anything really, so thought I may as well catch him. You can use Flash later on, I'm pretty sure, if I want him to. And you know, I won't use him, but I'll give him a nickname anyway, which is Sam. Pretty dead name. Neutral gender name like Voltorb is, so pretty handy. And then we come across a Treaduse, which you know, I don't think I would have caught anyway, but I thought, oh, I'll take it down for the XP, and then it used Explosion, which left me on 3 HP, and trust me there, I was shitting myself already. I was like, if I have to use a goddamn Voltorb as like essentially my starter Pokemon, I would not have been happy. So obviously I sprinted straight to the Poké Center and got him healed up, because that was so close, it was unbelievable. I completely forgot that the Reggies just have Explosion, like from the start of the game. Yeah, so that could have been really, really bad for me, that. Luckily it wasn't. Otherwise I wouldn't have been too happy. Then our next route we find a Cloyster, which obviously isn't ideal because I do already have a good water type Pokemon. But again, I thought I'll try and catch it just to you know, take the role on that random item. Could be a rare candy, could be a useful held item, who knows. So I think it is important, the way we're doing it, to try and catch most Pokemon. Obviously there will be Pokemon that I will just say, no, I don't want you to, and just leave because it's a waste of time to try and catch or whatnot. But in the early game I thought, you know, I may as well take that time to see what these wild Pokemon could have held on them. So this Cloyster did kind of take the piss, slowed me down quite a lot. I was thinking, if I don't catch it, I'm just gonna like KO it, give up on it. I wasn't that bothered about it, but luckily we did get it on that Pokeball, otherwise I would have been swiftly knocking it out and leaving that route encounter there. So we didn't want to give this one a name really, for obvious reasons, so I just named it ... I will just address that. I know Nuzlocke rules do make it so you have to name your every Pokemon. Sadly, I was just spamming when I got asked to name my starter Pokemon. That will be named Treaduse for the run, and I do amend that once we get to Slaveport City and we meet the name rater. But for now, he will just be known as Mudkip. So yeah, apologies for that. If I've broke the rules already, but you know, it's just one of them things. I was trying to get through the game as quick as I can, so I was just spamming, and obviously missed out on being able to name him. So on this route we found Execute, which I was actually really happy with. Quite a useful Pokemon to have. I wanted a grass type on the team, because for Nuzlocke primarily I want to have I do want to have one of each, like grass, fire and water, one of the primary elemental types. Just think it's useful to have. They always have decent type coverage, and obviously Execute can learn psychic type moves, which would be useful for the second gym. So yeah, I thought it'd be stupid not to try and catch it. So we give that a go anyway, and hopefully be a decent member of the team. But we don't catch it just yet, but I will spoil it. We do end up catching this Execute. Obviously not too difficult. It only seems to have Uproar at this point, which you know, isn't too great of a move on a low level Pokemon. Could cause some damage on certain Pokemons, but yeah, for this Execute it wasn't quite that good. And we did catch him in the end anyway. So we got a male Execute to add to the team, always handy. And we named him Rob. So if you can pick out the name scheme, then 10 points to you, I suppose. It's not too difficult. Besides my starter and my cloister, I am trying to have a certain theme, and it's not the most subtle theme. So if you can work that out, then props to you. But yeah, we just go back and heal. We're not taking any risks, especially after that fucking red chase exploding on me. I don't want anything like that to happen again. So we go and take on our first actual non-rival trainer of the run. So I think he sends out a level 5 Zigzagoon. Obviously these first few routes aren't too difficult. They just serve to introduce some of the other types of Pokemon, such as normal and like bug type Pokemon. They're pretty easy, soft Pokemon to take on. A decent chance for our Mudkip to get a few early levels ahead of taking on the first gym. Yeah, we take him down with ease, get a nice level up there. But yeah, pretty easy. We'll just say I'm really enjoying playing through these games, because I haven't played through Gen 3 since we actually did the versus Nuzlocke with each other, myself and Chase. So yeah, it's really good to be back playing these games. They're really good games, and well ahead of the time, I believe. So yeah, then we get into a bug catcher, so I think it's a good chance for Rob to get some decent XP. But we don't do too much damage to the Wurmple, which is a bit of a shame there. So I was thinking these could be some long battles with this level 3 Rob, which I probably can't afford to do with us doing a versus. That's the problem. We can't really afford to grind up on wild Pokemon too much either, so I waste time on shit Pokemon. So I did actually my strategy is to just fight every trainer that I come across, even though it is wasting a bit of time. I think that Treaduse will end up grinding on wild Pokemon every now and then, which is something that I want to avoid doing if I can at all costs. I'll be trying to keep a relatively small team just to avoid doing stuff like that. So ideally a fire, water, grass and flying type or dragon type or something like that. Yeah, I would happily take one of them. Yeah, Rob's finally going to get the level up. Felt like forever just because of how long it took to take on that bug catcher. So yeah, we just move our way onto, I forget the name of the town, but the one where our father's gym is. Come across a wild Tentacool, which wouldn't have been too handy for us. And obviously I forget that it has a poison type. And I used Uproar, so you can't switch out after that. So yeah, a bit of a stupid decision, and sadly, Rob is going to go down already. He didn't even make it out of the route I caught him on, which is a proper rookie Nuzlocke mistake by myself there. But sadly, on the first route, I've already, well, the third route, but the first proper route with trainers, I've already said goodbye to my to one of my catchers. That would have been a nice, handy acquisition for the team, but that's just one of them things in Nuzlocke. We had to move on with that, and yes, sadly, we've already lost a team member. So at this point, I forgot to switch my Mudkip to first in the party. So I was thinking, am I already going to lose another Pokemon with Sam there? But luckily, he tanked the hit off Poochyena, paralysed him, and I was able to switch out to Mudkip and take out the Poochyena from there. But yeah, not good to lose the Pokemon in the first route, but obviously it wasn't one that I was invested in at all. I think there is plenty of time to get another decent grass type Pokemon. It just leaves us slightly open for the second gym. Sorry, at this point, first gym won't be a problem at all. Obviously, with our boy Mudkip up front, but yeah. So take down another trainer. Like I said, there's no real way to make this part of the game fun. It is just, it's the same thing on every game. I recommend you check out Treaduse's version if anyone else but him is watching it, because it'll no doubt be better quality and more entertaining than my perspective is anyway. Yeah, we just make sure we heal up our Mudkip with these berries. Grab the berries, sorry. Berries are really useful in Nuzlocke runs, because obviously they can be used as a held item in battle, and sometimes when you think, oh, I've got no heals left, you'll have a berry that'll heal poison or something, so yeah, quite handy to have. Again, another pretty straightforward battle against the Zigzagoon. I've got a much higher leveled Mudkip at this point than they do, so obviously not going to cause me any real issues unless I pull out Execute. I don't think anything's going to go wrong anytime soon, so yeah, we sends out another Zigzagoon, so I know another easy battle, but that is just the start of the game, and obviously it is going to get increasingly more difficult, particularly with the fact that we're performing a Nuzlocke. And I think the randomizer does add a bit of challenge, because we do just get random Pokemon. We can't plan ahead and you know, formulate which teams we're going to have for certain types of gyms. You just got to take it as it comes, and just hope you get lucky, really. So I will just state that the reason that we're not doing a completely randomised Nuzlocke with random items and trainer Pokemon and stuff is that obviously it is a race, and we do want to see who's the more superior randomizer Nuzlocker. I think if you just randomise every item and every trainer, it does kind of remove a bit of that strategy. And obviously Pokemon is somewhat of a strategic game, so we do want to keep some of the base game there. We do enjoy the base game as it is, so obviously we'll just be randomising the Pokemon, so we have a bit of a different experience, and that's about it really. That's the only massive aspect that we've took away from the base game. We just wanted to keep it as close to the game as usual. And at this point, obviously you've got to do your catching tutorial, which always baffles me, because it's come after you've already caught Pokemon, so you don't need to watch this probably the worst rival ever catch a level 5 Ralts who doesn't even decide to like teleport or anything. Yeah, but pretty lucky for him to get a Ralts. It took me a long ass time to find one of them when I was a kid, so yeah, luckily he managed to snag one on the first go. Bit annoying, but you know, just one of them things. But yeah, he won't really be that much of an issue, this fella. Wally, he's just one of them rivals that, you know, I think he just gets ignored. Like, they forget that he exists for half the game, and then they're like, oh yeah, he's a rival battle right at the end and stuff like that. So yeah, he does seem like a bit of a pointless rival, but you know, he's just there to show you how to catch your Pokemon, really. Not much else on that part. Yeah, he'll serve as, I don't know if I'd call him your main rival or your second rival. I think you fight him in May just about the same amount of times, so, but they do kind of both suck a bit, to be honest. Although May does give you a good fight for the second rival battle that comes up just before the third gym. That's always a decent fight. And then this route we find a Quilava, which, you know, naturally I was really happy at. I wanted a fire type Pokemon, and what better to get than a starter Pokemon from Gen 2. So obviously I wanted to catch this Quilava so much. I just thought I'd chuck a Premier Ball. I didn't want to damage it any further, just in case. And luckily we caught it first time. Quite fortunate there from us, but yeah, very decent acquisition to the team, and again, and one that I would like to keep in the final team. I'm very happy with that, and I name him Bron. So if you haven't picked up on the name scheme by now, then you must have been hiding under a rock or not watching certain TV shows or reading certain books. So we go and heal again. Just want to heal up Aquilava and start trying to get him a bit of XP. Pretty nice to get that so far, and I'm feeling pretty positive about the team already. If I'd kept hold of Execute, I would have been even more positive. But yeah, I can't complain with catching a Quilava at this point in the game. And he had a random Soldier on as well, which is a held item for Latios and Latias, which, you know, I don't know what a Quilava was doing with that, but hey, who am I to judge? Can sell it at the shops for a small amount if I need anyway later on in the run. Unless I just sold it there, I wasn't paying much attention. So we're gonna start obviously training up Bron straight away. This is a good opportunity for Bron to get some levels because Mudkip is basically gonna walk the gym no matter what level he is. He'll do it easily because obviously he is a water type and it's all rock type users. So obviously when the C-Dot uses Bide, I just decided to drop his defense because even in Nuzlocke I'm not taking risks with shitty moves like Bide. Could have possibly KO'd it, but I wasn't taking the risk with getting hit with that multiplied damage from the Bide, so I thought I may as well do myself the favour of dropping his defense, so he's much easier to take out when he's not biding. But yeah, we definitely do not want to get hit by a powered up Bide. If we got a crit or anything like that, it would have could have already been the end for our boy Bron out here. So yeah, we take out a C-Dot to get a critical hit on the last go, which is always annoying because in a race you want to get those crits at the start so you can speed up the battle best you can. So he sends out a Tailor next. Now I was feeling a bit risky. I thought I'll try take him on even though he has the obvious level advantage, but I quickly realised that Bron isn't quite up to the task just yet, so I sent out my starter Pokemon, Mudkip, or Treaduse as he will be called when we get to Slateport City. Obviously accidentally used Mud Slap there. Please don't flame me in the comments if anyone's watching this because I didn't mean to use it. Obviously it is not effective against flying type Pokemon because it is a ground type move, so yeah, my bad on that. A bit more of a time waste, but hopefully that won't be the one thing that stops me from winning this challenge using Mud Slap on a level 8 Tailor. Yeah, so I want to save a bit of time. I didn't bother going back to the Poké Center just yet. Just healed up our boys with berries and potions for now, and move our way on to some snobby arsehole after we get these berries. Uses full restores on his Zigzagoon and stuff, which is just annoying. Just like, why do that? I think I got lucky in this run, he didn't actually use his stupid full restore, so, you know, swings and roundabouts there. But he might have, I'm not sure. Like I said, I have played this section of the game 3 times already, so it could have been another one of the runs where the full restore was used, but luckily in the second run, I didn't get as far as the first run. I actually got to the last gym. So I was about to take on the last gym when I had to restart it because I realised I'd fucked up so hard. Basically, I was doing the Kyogre battle, and it wasn't the most epic battle in the world. I literally I got hit by it once and shit myself and used my Master Ball on it. But I'd actually not pressed re-record because I'd had to pause it just before I went into the Cave of Origin. So I just thought after that I have to restart. So so I had to go again, and sadly I hadn't kept the save state for that. So because I'd already saved literally the second I ended my recording. So yeah, I kind of fucked up on that one there. But that's just one of them things. I'm not a YouTuber, so mistakes will be made from time to time. And obviously we'll move on after taking on that guy. So we'll get to the Petalburg Woods. We won't get an encounter just yet. So we've got to take on this bug catcher, and I do think bug catchers, particularly at this point of the game, are just a really good chance for Bron to get that little bit of extra XP against shit Pokemon. Basically, they're not going to do too much in the terms of attacking him. So yeah, we use this as an opportunity just to spam tackle over and over. And I think they just use string shot over and over. So obviously no issues for Bron. He's not at risk of getting knocked out by these Wurmples, I don't think. So yeah, pretty easy stuff. Just keep taking them down. There's not much I can say to make this battle remotely interesting, particularly if it's done post com. If I was doing it live com, then it probably would be a bit of a different story. But yeah, I just thought it would be better not to do live com on something that I've already done. Like, this is my third time doing it, so obviously slightly tedious on my behalf. But yeah, we just keep taking out these Wurmples, getting decent XP. Hopefully, I think at this point I was aiming to have Bron at level 10 at least by the time we hit the end of the forest. Sadly, he doesn't have his elemental move just yet, so that would have made obviously these bugs a lot easier to take out with Ember. But that's the only problem with getting an already evolved Pokemon. They don't always have their base moves that they get from a baby Pokemon, so that's just again one of them things that you have to cope with on a Nuzlocke. Obviously he is harder to take out, but he does find it harder to take out other Pokemon until he gets that elemental move. So with that, we'll take up this Wurmple and end this episode here. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my perspective, and I'll see you later.